everyone, it's Shel from the StencilGirl Products creative team. Today I'm sharing with you a stenciled wall clock. This is an inexpensive wall clock from Walmart, and I've had it for a long time. As you can see, I've made a face for it before that's very faded, and I used rubber stamps and dye ink, and that's the reason it's so faded. I thought it would be a good time to make a new one, and so I took out the old one. I took apart the clock. You need to kind of gently pry out the plastic part. It has some little tabs, and you need to kind of bend it so that it can come out. Then you need to take off the three hands by just pulling them directly up. It doesn't hurt them, but don't pull from the ends. Pull from the center and pull each one directly up. Then I just took that face, and it could be the one that came with it. That's what I originally did, was use the one that came with it. And I did take a punch and punch holes wherever there was a marking all the way around the edge for where the numbers go. I needed to have some type of marking for when I was making my new face. I made this out of a piece of a cardboard envelope, actually one that comes from StencilGirl Products for StencilClub every month, so you can see the label on the back. And I cut a hole with an X-Acto knife in the center so that it would fit down into the clock again. And there you see all the pieces. So I set aside the pieces and started to decorate the clock using some different botanical stencils, and I'm trying some different ones. I enjoy the type of stencil that has a mask, which is the cutout part, and then a stencil, which is the sheet with the hole in it. And some of these are, most of the ones I used are that type of stencil. Then I took my piece of cardboard and I did put a coat of white gesso and set it aside to dry. I'm primarily a collage and mixed media artist, and so the way that I plan to decorate this is to make some painty papers using the stencils that I chose. And I'm going to do that with a gel plate. This is a 6x6 gel plate, and it's an old one, so it's some yellowing, but it still works perfectly fine. You know, if you have a hammer and your hammer gets rusty, it still works fine, right? This is the same thing. It's a tool. So it may not be the most beautiful gel plate you've ever seen in your life, but it works perfectly fine. I took some deli paper, which was 12 by 12, and I cut it into 6 by 6 size sheets that will fit this gel plate, because I don't need big pieces of paper. I just need some to decorate my clock. The colors I'm using are Payne's Gray, light olive, a medium warm gray, a titanium white. I know that you see 5 in the picture there, but I didn't end up using the Naples yellow. So I'm doing a shadowing technique that I like to do on the gel plate. The first thing I do is put down the color that I want the main part of the stencil to be. This is actually a mask. It is a stencil too, because it still has everything attached around the edges, but it's got a lot of open areas, and I want the lines to be Payne's Gray. So I put that color down first, put the stencil over the top, and then I pulled up the Payne's Gray out of the holes of the stencil. Leaving the stencil there, I put on another color, which was the light olive green, and then I pulled that up with another piece of paper, being less forceful in the pressing of it. And then I pulled off the stencil, and now I have Payne's Gray leaves with a light olive halo around them. And I pulled up that entire layer using a very thin layer of titanium white over the top. And that pulls all the colors up, and what you get is this kind of grungy, haloed piece. So I'm doing that again. This time I put the olive green first, put down the mask. This is from another botanical stencil. And then I put the Payne's Gray over the top, pulled off that layer, not pressing as hard so that it's leaving a halo of the Payne's Gray around the light olive bits. And then I'm going to pull this one up with that warm gray. That's the last top layer, very thin. You know, you just want things to stick together but not be gloppy. I think that the main problem that people have with gel printing is that they put way too much paint. It needs to be very thin layers. But you can see that's got olive fronds with Payne's gray halo around it, and then gray in the background, which is the color that I picked it all up with. This is a fun technique. I do it all the time, but it's not the only thing I do, but I do that. Now I'm putting down some Payne's gray again, and then I'm looking for a different stencil. This one is kind of vines and berries. So the vine and berries are going to be Payne's gray because they're underneath the stencil. And I'm pulling away the excess, and I can still use all those other pieces. They're not wasted, they're just different. Then I put the light olive over it, pulled that off as well. So again, I've got Payne's gray, vines and berries with olive green halo, and I'm going to pick that whole thing up with titanium white. Very thin layer, just takes a little tiny bit. I'm going to end up using 4 of these, but I do have a lot of other pieces left that I'll use on other projects. Maybe some other projects to use along with my clock, like some storage containers or pencil containers or something like that. So then this stencil is not a mask. This is a stencil. And I'm laying the stencil down and I'm putting the white paint through the stencil. It has very thin lines. I got to press pretty hard with my brayer. That's a 2-inch brayer. So now I have white leaves and I'm going to pick those up with Payne's gray. And this is the last piece of paper that I used, so you'll see it in the upcoming project. Dark background, light leaves is what I get with that one. And this is deli paper. It gives a different look. It can be translucent if you're using translucent paint. It also kind of gives you a grungy look, a little bit. I don't know, grungy, I guess is the word for it. So those are exactly what I wanted. I picked out the 4 I plan to use, put the rest away for later. So the one that on the top there, that was made, it was one of my papers that I pulled away excess paint with as I was doing my technique, but then I turned over the stencil that had paint on the back after I pulled it off, and I pressed it down, and so it has a layer of like stencil printed with excess paint that was on the stencil over the top of the gel printed portion. And I divided my clock face, which is now dry with gesso, into 4 sections lightly with the pencil, and I am putting the paper into the 4 sections. And if the edge isn't nice, I just tear it off with the ruler, or if I want a different portion of the paper to show, like this one, it had too much of the base of the plant and I wanted more of the fronds to show. I'm using Yoo-Hoo glue stick to glue this down. It doesn't require anything heavier than that. It's lightweight paper, being the deli paper, which is what they used to wrap sandwiches with. It's kind of like a waxed paper, except for it doesn't have a type of wax that won't let things penetrate. Now this one, I just wanted a different portion of it to show. That's the very first one I made, and I really like it. I think it's cool. So I'm just moving them around, lining them up, pressing everything down with a slightly damp baby wipe, and then folding the edges over to the back. And then the last one is the Payne's gray with the white leaves on it, and that's the darkest colored one that I put on. I like the contrast. I like that all the colors that I chose are represented in the background. So now for a little bit more stenciling, I'm going to use this botanical leaf. I'm putting some pixie spray, which is a stencil adhesive, on the back so that it will stay down really nicely. You need to let that dry for a minute before you put it down. It's kind of like the type of adhesive that a Post-it note has. It's not super sticky. It doesn't get on the paper, and it can really only be used one time, and then you have to spray it again. But it doesn't get all over the stencil and make it yucky. So it's a nice thing to use. And I'm using some stencil brushes to carefully pat the paint over it so that I get a nice clean image. And that's my second layer. I've also got the stencil that the mask that I used came out of, and it has some other masks in it too. It's got a lot of different interesting leaves and shapes of botanical nature in it. Designed by Array Missingmen, I believe. And then this is a stencil. It's a 9x12 stencil that I've cut in half. It had kind of two different designs on it. All the numbers for ordering these stencils will be listed below the video so that you can pick them up if you would like at StencilGirlProducts.com. So I'm stenciling on the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9 using this stencil. And use the Payne's Gray, except for at the bottom it was too dark down there to use Payne's Gray, so I used white. Then here's where my little marks that I punched out of this old clock face come in. Marking them with a indigo colored marker, and then I'm going to do some detail work over the top with that same indigo blue marker and a water brush. That's a Faber-Castell artist pit pen. It's an indigo pit pen, and on this surface I have a few seconds that I can blend it. So I'm writing with the pen around the edges of these leaves that have been gel printed, and then I'm just blending out that color with the water in the water brush, and it makes that leaf on that background stand out just a little bit more, just a little bit. Then I'm using a acrylic marker. This is a Posca pen in a fine tip, and I'm doing the same thing going around this focal image that I've stenciled on there, which is in the Payne's Gray color, the leaf, the botanical leaf. Going around with the white, blending it out, and giving it kind of a little bit of a halo, just to make it more prominent in the background, in the foreground, I mean. This acrylic ink has just a little bit of time that it's not dry where you can blend it. So it works really well with a fine-tipped water brush to just blend it out. I think details like this make a big difference in your projects. So I always do a little bit of something, mark making or shadow making or highlight making on all my projects. I hope you're enjoying this botanical wall clock project. If you are, please remember to give a thumbs up. You can leave a comment below if you'd like to. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so you know when there's a new video coming out. And of course, you can pin this on Pinterest for future, to remind yourself to do it in the future. All those things are very helpful for our channels to help them grow by helping other people out in YouTube find us. So this is a green marker from that same set of Pitt Artist pens, and I'm just kind of, again, doing the shading and shadowing around some of the shapes, and also just kind of adding another dimensional color there. With the green is slightly darker than the light olive, so just a little bit more details, making some colors pop out, making some things stand out, make it more interesting. And then all that's left to do is to put the clock back together, put the face down in there and press it down real good over the thing that's sticking out from the middle. Then reattaching the hands, they go in a certain order, so you have to remember which order they went into, and they'll only fit that way. And then just snapping the clear cover back on, and it's done. So here come the close-ups of this botanical wall clock for StencilGirl Products. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.